Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here, helping you find more range, power, and freedom in your singing voice. On this channel, I give singing tips just like this one, so if you're new here, definitely hit subscribe. Today, I want to give you a very practical tip using vowels to help singing in your mix a little bit easier. Depending on the vowels, meaning the back vowels, the neutral vowels, or the front vowels, and don't worry, I'll get into that, there's going to be slightly different strategies. So today I want to talk about a strategy for these so-called back vowels and even the neutral vowels. So the back vowels are going to be ones like ah, you know, and even things like the schwa vowel, uh. Here's the issue with these vowels as we start to sing higher in our range is the tongue, more importantly, the back part of the tongue tends to push down and even retract back, even just slightly makes a big difference. And acoustically speaking, a better, more efficient strategy would be to have that back part of the tongue stay more, if anything, just more relaxed, and if anything, come forward slightly. Because when the back part of the tongue comes forward without excessive tension, then the throat is actually more open. So, two things you can do to make sure you're singing with this right kind of vowel space that we're going to get into for some of these higher pitches. The first thing is when you inhale through your mouth, notice where you feel a cooling sensation. Do you feel it at the front of your mouth? Do you feel it at the back part of your mouth, like toward the soft palate? Do you feel it on the vocal cords? Inhale right now and see what you notice. Historically, it's often been taught to inhale and feel a cooling at the back part of the mouth or even on the vocal cords. And I'm going to tell you right now that is not good, because where there is cooling in the vocal tract, there is narrowing. So if you are feeling cooling on the vocal cords or the back part of the mouth, then you are actually narrowing at those parts of the vocal tract. So if you want to feel, so what you want to do is you want to feel cooling around the front of the mouth. And this is what I've learned from a great voice teacher. His name's Ken Bozeman. What some would term as pre-phonatory tuning. So how you're setting your vocal tract up before you're actually singing. And it's so simple because you can do this between each phrase, which is so helpful to feel a cooling around the teeth and the hard palate area. And you can practice shaping vowels silently and inhaling in that manner and feeling cooling at the front. So that's the first tip. And that could take you very, very far. And I hope you'll implement that as well. And we're going to apply this to a song in just a second here. But the second thing has to do with the tongue. And you can somewhat indirectly position the tongue in the right spot by inhaling, but these vowels that we used to speak with, and it doesn't matter where you come from in terms of language, some languages do tend to produce vowels better, like Italians typically have more pleasant sounding language simply because they have pure vowels. They don't have all the diphthongs like we do in America and other parts of the world as well. The challenge remains the same for all of us once we start to get up past the first bridge or the first passaggio in that mixed voice territory. And again, if you're new here, for men tenors, it's typically, historically speaking, around this E, F, and F sharp is our first bridge. For women, you're typically around this A, B flat, B. Those are just estimates. It can be a little before that and even after that, depending on your personal voice type. But once we start getting up into these higher territories of the voice, in order to be in mixed voice and to be in a free sounding mixed voice, not only do we want to have that good inhale with the prephonatory tuning where we're cooling the front part of the mouth, but if you can pay attention, and I hesitate saying this because I don't want you to become overly aware of this, but it can really help in your practice time, and it does start to become muscle memory. Pay attention to where the tip of your tongue is. Now again, I'm gonna brave it here because this is a little different than what most people would teach, which is to always keep the tip of the tongue behind the bottom teeth. But I'm going to make an argument that especially when we start singing in our mixed voice, now this is just on the back vowels and even the neutral vowels. The front vowels are a little different. We'll talk about that another time. You want to keep the tip of your tongue gently resting on top of the bottom teeth. And I'll show you a really simple way to get that position. What you do is take a clean pinky, gently press it against your bottom teeth. Don't press hard, just touch it. And then ever so slightly touch the tip of your tongue to your pinky. And that is right where you want to keep the tip of the tongue. So what we're gonna do, if I was going to sing this song, but if I go up here and I don't pay attention to the tip of my tongue, now, although that might not sound terrible, it didn't feel great. And the tip of my tongue went down to the bottom parts of my teeth and even almost touching the bottom gum ridge. I'm telling you, that is not necessarily going to be as effective as allowing the tip of the tongue to at least start the phrase with it resting on those bottom teeth. Because when you do that, you're bringing the tongue ever so slightly forward and relieving a lot of this tension right here, which is right on top of the vocal cords anyways, and that's what creates so many of the issues in singing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first sing this melody on a wah, wah, wah to mark it out, because it will allow me to keep my tongue in the same place before I go and use the words. So let's see here. If I say, wah, 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 I was born by the river, I was born by the river. That whole time I was trying to keep my mouth a little more open for you. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera, but I kept the tip of my tongue almost on all those words, maybe except for the top pitch. It changed a little bit, but about in the same spot as here. And mind you, I'm not putting it there with tension. I'm just allowing it to go there. I'm allowing it to relax there. If anything, the tongue feels very loose and relaxed while I'm hitting that. And I'll tell you what, the sound placement tends to follow tongue placement. So if the tongue starts to retract back, your sound placement tends to feel back further in your throat. If your tongue naturally comes forward without much tension, like we're doing here, the sound tends to feel more forward. And we, especially in commercial styles of singing, we are often looking for a more forward feeling, but also sounding voice. These are the two steps, and you can apply this to any song you're singing, is when you're inhaling, check yourself. Do you feel air at the back or on your vocal cords? That is not a great vocal tract setup. You want to feel coolness at the front of your mouth. Then on these back vowels like ah, and then even neutral vowels like the schwa vowel, which are very common for these higher notes of songs, is to allow the tip of the tongue to gently rest on top of the bottom teeth. I really hope this tip helps some of you out there. I know when I learned this, it was revolutionary for me, so I do hope that I can pass it along to someone out there. My goal with this channel is to be helpful. I don't want to just put pointless information out there. I really want to put tips and techniques and things that I use every single day with my students and myself that really seem to help. I do a lot of weird exercises and a lot of strange things, and I cannot wait to continue to pass them along to you. If this video did help you and you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps. And again, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit subscribe to my channel. I have more videos coming soon. Until next time.